The Gregg Marshall Show with Wichita State Shocker basketball head coach Gregg Marshall is brought to you by Patterson Legal Group. They're the good guys. And by Jacob's Liquor Exchange. Here's the voice of the Shocker.
Good evening and welcome into tonight's programs. We'll actually have 3 coaches shows tonight for the last time this season, or this part of the season anyway, as we'll have Gregg Marshall coming up momentarily, then Keitha Adams, and we'll close it out tonight with the final Chris Lamb show of the season as the Shocker volleyball team wrapped up their season in the NCAA tournament on Saturday night. Shocker men's basketball at 6-1 on the year. The applause for Coach Gregg Marshall sitting down to join me. Wichita State coming off a really nice 69-62 win at Baylor on Saturday afternoon. They will have 2 games this week at home on Tuesday night against a good South Dakota State team, and then on the road Saturday afternoon at Oklahoma State. The Shockers move up a couple of notches to number 6 in both polls this week, the AP and the coaches poll, number 5 in the CBS poll, and top 5 in both of the major metrics, the Ken Pomeroy and the ESPN BPI. So still getting a lot of respect, and even more so maybe after that win over Baylor. And Coach, now that you've had a chance to probably look at some video and analyze that one a little bit, just your overall feelings on the Baylor win.
Well, I thought we played very well. I thought, that's obviously a quality team and a quality program, and to go in there and snap the 46-game non-conference win streak took a good effort by our guys. I thought we were tough. We shot it well. We executed well against the changing defenses and out-rebounded them. So in the end, it was a great Saturday afternoon in Texas.
You know, one of the guys working the game was Reed Geddes, who some of you will remember as being the shooting guard on the Phi Slamma Jamma teams at Houston in the early 80s. And we talked to him before the game, and he's done a number of Baylor games in the last couple of years. And he said that zone tends to really mess everyone up because it's not really the 1-3-1 that you think it is. It morphs into other things, and he said teams consistently have problems with it. So really a tribute to the way your guys handled it. And actually they did a little more switching into man-to-man and back right off the bat than they typically do.
Yeah, they did. They changed defenses pretty much throughout the game, but I would say 75% zone. And we just did a better job. We were getting the ball to the right areas, on time, to the shooters and rhythm. And our big guys were finishing some. And it was a physical game now around that basket.
I was going to ask you, I mean, that's something that you've always prided yourself on, your teams of being tough and being able to handle themselves in a physical game. And was that a good test of just seeing where this team is this year on playing in that kind of situation?
Absolutely. Every team has to, earn their stripes, and this particular group to go on the road and continue our winning ways on the road. It's been a hallmark of our program for the last 5 or 6 years with our percentage of wins on the road. I think it's number 1 in the country. So, and that was a tough one. There's not a lot of teams go in there and win in Baylor. So 46-game non-conference home win streak was snapped. Something had to give with our being the best road team and their streak. So I'm glad it was their streak, and our guys really were focused on finishing this game and bringing a win back to Wichita.
It was a game where you had a lead, but not much of one for most of the ball game and most of the second half. But do you feel like your guys had a good feel throughout on continuing to play through and not playing to protect any leads or that sort of thing, to just keep running things and trying to keep scoring?
Absolutely, yeah. We kept the foot on the pedal the whole time. And I think Richard actually mentioned it to the guys in one of the late timeouts, maybe the under 8-minute timeouts. Don't worry about the score. Keep playing. Keep pressing. Keep pushing. And we had the one we gave away against Notre Dame. So these guys know what that feels like, and they certainly didn't want to have a repeat.
In any game like that, you have to have some big plays at various times, and a lot of guys made some, but there were 2, I thought, particularly big shots. Right early in the second half, they got it down to, I think, 2 and seemed to have some momentum, and Connor hit a big 3 to get it back to 5, and then after they tied it at 62, actually missed a shot, and you got the offensive rebound. He had missed from the left corner, ended up over in the right corner and nailed one from there that got you back in the lead.
Yeah, They tied it once in the second half, but we were anywhere from the tie to +7. I think that was the largest lead we had all game. and it was somewhere between 7 and 2 most of the second half. They kept making plays. They really offensive rebounded very, very well, and they were tough on the glass. But we out-rebounded them by 2. I liked how our guys responded. Every time they made a big basket, the place is going nuts. We made a big play. One of my favorite plays was the pressure with Darrell Willis and Rashard Kelly out front towards the half-court line, and Darrell flicked it from one of their players, and Kelly actually dove to the ground to save it in bounds, and it went through their guy's leg. Darrell got it, dribbled more than half the court, and went off 2 feet and finished and got fouled, and I thought that was a big play.
Was this a significant game for Darrell in terms of doing some things that you want to see him continue to do better defensively and so forth? And he had a total of 6 rebounds, but it certainly felt like every one he got, he really ripped down in a crowd.
Well, he's still evolving as a player. He's just barely in his second year now, and but as a junior college player, it's your last one. And we always talk about how junior college players usually have a much better second year, just like college players. They know what to expect. They know the rigors of college basketball and the season, how long it is. And in this case, Darrell's learning to rebound better in a crowd with 2 hands. There's going to be body contact. People are going to try to take the ball from you. It's a very physical game underneath that basket. And he's doing that better, and he's also defending. Now, Baylor's a good team for him to defend because they had several big guys. So their 4-man is a legit big man. And so Darrell's a big man, and he's able to guard those guys a little better than chasing around a 6'4", 6'5", undersized 4-man.
You're listening to Shocker head coach Gregg Marshall. The Shockers coming off a big road win at Baylor, ranked 6th in the nation this week, and we'll continue our discussion from AJ's Sports Grill at the end.
It's the Patterson Legal Group. Someone's gonna pay.
Our client's been in a car wreck. Where's the insurance guy?
It's time to pay our client for damages.
They deserve more. There's lots of pain and suffering.
You really don't want to see us in court, so pay it all now.
Hurt in a car wreck?
Call the good guys. We're Tyler
And Gary, the Patterson Legal Group.
Call 550-0000.
Hello, Shocker Nation. This is Cindy Carnahan with the Carnahan Group at J.P. Wygand & Sons. For the past 40 years, the Carnahan Group has been helping the great people of Wichita buy and sell homes, helping with first home purchases, patio homes, and everything in between. Whether you are trading up or paring down, we want you to call on us. Let us put our vast experience, our robust marketing, and our proven systems to work for you. Whether big or small, our service is the same. I promise.
I love Carlos O'Kelly's queso.
Man, that's what I'm gonna miss most about Wichita.
Oh, why the ref's taking our food?
Whoa, 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 we didn't double dip.
Looks like we won't be going to the monitor for this one. Carlos O'Kelly's queso is for everyone.
So how many quesos? 36, got it.
You don't have to be a Shocker legend to love Carlos O'Kelly's queso.
Founded in 1919, Lewis Street Glass is a 4th-generation family business that got its start installing and replacing automotive glass. In these times of cut-rate, no-warranty competition from industry giants, we remain true to our long-standing policy of fair pricing and total customer satisfaction. With service professionals who specialize in automotive work, we offer all types of auto glass services, including door mechanical repairs as well as glass restoration work on classic cars. Lewis Street Glass, where we're proud to be Kansas's oldest glass shop.
It has the power to soften the blow. Break the ice. And melt your heart. A healthy smile is a powerful thing. It deserves Delta Dental, the nation's leading dental benefits provider. Learn more about our individual and family plans at deltadentalks.com.
Welcome back to the Gregg Marshall Show from AJ's Sports Grill at the Alley. And for the most part, we're going to be here now on a regular basis from 6 to 7 on Monday nights. And then coming up from 7 to 8, women's basketball conversation with Keitha Adams and your host, Steve Strain. Shocker men's basketball with 2 games this week, 1 at home, 1 on the road, which we'll get to in a little bit. But going back to the discussion of the Baylor win on Saturday, both Zach Brown and Landry Shamet had injury issues coming into the game. Zach with a knee, Landry with an ankle. Zach played with a brace on his knee. Just for the naked eye, didn't appear to be any major effect on him. But how did you feel like he handled that?
Yeah, I thought I could tell he was favoring it a little bit. He's definitely not 100%, but he gave it a go and helped us win the game. Landry didn't seem to have any effects. It was a minimal sprained ankle, thank goodness. He just got rolled up on in the Savannah State game. Samaje had the mouth, and we had a lot of guys get banged up in that Savannah State game.
Manu LeConte, their fine fifth-year senior guard, showed in the first half that he is skilled, tricky. He has all kinds of ways to get himself open, and Landry, with help from a couple of others, had primary responsibility on him, especially in the second half. I thought did a great job of not even letting him get many shots in the second half.
Yeah, Landry really defended well, but it was a team effort because they do great stuff to get him looks. They run him off staggered screens, obviously ball screens, but Landry had the primary responsibility for guarding him. I know Austin guarded him a little bit, and I'm sure Brown guarded him some too, but he's a talented player. I don't know what his average is, but he was probably close to his average. He definitely wasn't over.
And the one time he got an open three in the second half, I just saw Samaje on the floor. I don't know what happened there, but he ended up on the floor, and he got a wide open three.
Well, he chased the wrong way, and that's something that we're teaching Samaje is when they're coming off staggered screens, you've got to what we call lock and chase. You've got to not hold them, but you've got to be right in their footsteps and have very little separation. And that time, as Manu LeConte was running the baseline towards our bench, Samaje started taking a shortcut, or not a shortcut, maybe a longer path, and tried to go over the top of the screens. And all that screener did was simply move a little bit to the north, and Samaje clips him, and there's a little collision, but I don't think it was definitely wasn't a dirty play, and I don't think it was an illegal screen. Samaje just chose the wrong path, and he got the wide open look.
You mentioned that by the end of the game, you ended up on top on the boards by 2, got off to a slow start there. And I know that you and your coaching staff had really emphasized this was a team you're going to have to get a body on and really wall them off. And it took a little while, but certainly your guys adjusted and did a nice job on the boards after about the first 4 minutes or so.
Yeah, there was we didn't quite make the emphasis strong enough going into the game. The first media timeout, we were down. They'd gotten 6 offensive rebounds, so we had to remind them in that first media timeout that was going to be an issue, and if they wanted to continue to participate in that particular game, they needed to shore that up a little bit.
And they're kind of an interesting team rebounding-wise. Luol Achul is 7 feet, but kind of skinny. It's long, but not real powerful. And then Clark, the freshman kid, I was really impressed. He's going to be a stud. 6'9", 245, and then a couple of their 6'5 guys are 225, 230, and can put a body on it.
I've coached against a handful or more for kids from the South Sudan, and I've never seen a real big one. They're tall, but they're never thick. They're long and athletic, and this kid's a really good player. I think he'll play at the highest level, and they do have some meaty guys. I thought Vital was really tough on the glass, and the freshman Clark had a good ball game. So they're I don't know why they're so down as far as numbers. I know they have 1 transfer sitting out. They did get Jolly back as their 8th guy. I know Matson's hurt, would be 9. So Kegler, the transfer from Mississippi State, is 10. But I don't know what they did with the other 3 scholarships. So, but I don't have to worry about that. I have to worry about mine. And I've got, I'm redshirting Rod Brown and Marcus McDuffie's out. So we were at 11.
And you've played in most of the closer games. You've played 9. Of course, CJ wasn't available to play for a while, and are you looking to, if you can, maybe push that rotation to another guy or two a little more often as you go through this?
Well, hopefully it's going to go naturally to 10 when Marcus McDuffie is cleared. That's a natural. And then, you know, I want to play CJ. I want to play Asbjorn. I've just got to pick the right spots. I don't want to lose games making sure they can play at this level.
And certainly it was a great example of the schedule that you have, that you've kind of set up and then, of course, acquired part of when you became a member of the American Conference. But Notre Dame, Charleston, Marquette, now this game with Baylor and more to come. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the fact that you're going to get tested like you haven't game to game in recent years, and it's been great for your guys to see them start to rise to the occasion.
I'm glad you're enjoying that, Mike. I really am. I'm really pleased that you're having such a good time with that.
No, I'm just saying, it's what's there. It's what's before you, and your guys are starting to, I think, accept that it's going to be a challenge.
Well, there's no nights off. I mean, this South Dakota team coming in here tomorrow night, I mean, they've beaten Iowa. They went to Ole Miss and won. They just lost to Missouri State, and I've got to watch that game. That was last night, so I've got to watch that one tonight and tomorrow. But that one doesn't make any sense. They lost at the Pentagon, actually, in Sioux Falls. So is it Sioux Falls?
Sioux Falls, yeah.
Where we went to play Memphis that time. So, but they didn't shoot it well, and Missouri State obviously shot it very well. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Missouri State did that, because this is a good basketball team. They're much better than they were a year ago. They've got more pieces. They don't rely quite as much on Dom, even though he's a very, very talented player and another guy that will probably play at the highest level. But he's only averaging 20 this year as opposed to 25 last year.
You know, and talking about the schedule, had to be a little bit gratifying, I would think, when you look at the American Conference over the weekend. Houston beats Arkansas, SMU beat USC, UCF with a win over Alabama, and obviously it makes your schedule and your job tougher, but it's proving to be a conference that we all thought it was.
As long as it's more fun for you, that's all I want. I want it to be more entertaining for you to call those games. Yeah, it's going to be. There's no nights off. It's just you're going to have to play every night, and you're going to have to bring it.
All right, we will continue with Coach Marshall from AJ's Sports Grill at the Alley, our weekly Monday night show. We'll continue when we come back.
I'm Coach Gregg Marshall. Getting an award means you've achieved something exceptional. So when I tell you that Welch's Heating and Air offers award-winning service with a 96% satisfaction rating, what that means is Welch's will do an exceptional job in taking care of your family's comfort needs. I should know, as I rely on Welch's to take care of my family's comfort needs. Call Welch's Heating and Air, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning customer care dealer at 733-1600.
At Bell Mirror & Glass, we know our work reflects our family name, but we also know that what we do reflects on you.
For over 50 years now, Bell Mirror & Glass has created and installed nothing but the finest custom-made glass, mirrors, shower enclosures, and more for your family or business. Visit the gorgeous Bell Mirror & Glass showroom today.
And let what we do reflect on you.
Bell Mirror & Glass. For over 50 years, a reflection of perfection.
So you want to join the popular RV movement? Why not try it before you buy it at Ramsey's RV Rental in Augusta, Kansas? Ramsey's RV Rental has top-of-the-line towable travel trailers that sleep up to 8 for your next getaway, road trip, hunting trip, or tailgate. Small to large, toy haulers too. Many of Ramsey's RV units come equipped with state-of-the-art flat screens, kitchens, bathrooms, and more. Book online now at Ramsey'sRVRental.com, where you could say Ramsey's RV Rental has changed camping into glamping. Ramsey's RV Rental, 316-775-3637.
At Jacob Liquor Exchange, you never know who will show up.
The wine selection is scary good.
It's safer to buy my tequila here than in Juarez.
They got more bourbon than my dog's got fleas.
Many craft beers for even my fancy palate.
At Jacob Liquor Exchange, we have the largest selection of beer, wine, and spirits in Wichita. If you're not sure what to buy, check out our weekend tastings. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will help you decide. We're right on the way and right on the price. Jacob Liquor Exchange.
Your eyes are often the first to capture important memories. Dress them for the occasion with a new pair of glasses from Howard's Optical. For nearly half a century, Howard's has given you the look you want and deserve. Ask about the Ultimate Lens Package at any of their 4 locations in Wichita: Bradley Fair, Riverside, 13th and Mays Road, and their main store at 5405 East Central. Howard's Optical, a heritage of quality, service, and integrity. Visit howardsoptical.com. Proud supporter of Wichita State basketball. Go Shocks!
Welcome back to the Gregg Marshall Show from AJ Sports Grill at the Alley. And along with rankings and things like that come out on Monday, we have the latest NCAA statistics. The Shockers were the leaders in the nation in rebound margin going into Saturday's game. And although their margin was just +2 over Baylor, still lead the nation in rebound margin at 15.9 per game over their opponents. Also 7th in the nation in field goal percentage defense, allowing their opponents to shoot just .361 on the year. And I would guess if there's 2 statistics that you would be most want to have a great number in or lead the nation in, it would be those 2.
Those are the 2 that have always been part of our program and the source of pride for me and our players, our staff. And those 2 things travel. Rebounding and defense travel, and that's why we've been able to be as good as we have been on the road. Sometimes making shots doesn't travel quite as well, but certainly if you put yourself in a position to win games when you can limit them to 1 shot, get a couple of extra possessions on the offensive end with offensive rebounding, and defend them and make every shot that they take a contested shot, and not give up really easy looks.
Something that's been a little uncharacteristic, although it's not a big number, but in turnovers you're about even with your opponents this year. You're not averaging a lot of turnovers, but any concerns about that, or it hasn't been the type of thing where many of the turnovers have led to what you call atomic bomb type things. The points off turnovers, you're still ahead for the season by a couple of points a game.
No, really, I think that our big guys, in this last game, it was the 3 seniors, Kelly, Brown, and Shaq, that had turnovers. And one of them was in the first possession of the game. Shaq got it low and started to make a move, and there was some contact that went down on the ground. The ball was actually off of Baylor, and there was a foul, but neither one of them were called. And so that's a turnover. And he's got to be stronger with the ball, and we talked about that. Richard got a great offensive rebound and then tried to make a play and late in the game and turned it over. Zach's his ball handling issues have been well documented. He just got to do a better job of taking care of the ball, not try to do too much. But those guys, they can't be turning it over that much. They're not the primary ball handlers. They're seniors. So 9 turnovers from the 3 of them is way too many.
There was a play in the first half, and I was going to ask you if you've ever seen one like it. I don't recall that I ever have. Shaq made a jump hook that kind of bounced up once and then was settling back into the net. It looked like Kelly was just going to get position for a possible offensive rebound, and his hand got in the net, and he flipped the ball up out of the net and nullified the basket.
Yeah, I've never seen that. He actually was pushed from behind, and his hands were up, and as he was pushed from behind, he caught the net, and the basket doesn't count. That's another turnover, by the way. That was one of his turnovers. So you really can't find a whole lot of fault there. He obviously didn't mean to do that. I've seen that happen one other time, and it was one of my losses at home, which were very rare at Winthrop University. We played a game. We ended up losing in double or triple overtime, but we ran the home run play out of the out of bounds. The team was pressing us. Kid went down and dunked the ball so hard that it hit the bottom of the net, and I guess we had new nets, and the ball went to the bottom of the net and shot right back up, never cleared the net on a dunk. And the basket did not count, and everybody's just going, wait, everybody just stopped, except this one kid went over and got the ball for their team, and they end up winning the game. So, yeah, it's not a good omen when things like that happen.
We talked about the toughness that your team displayed, and have you been pleased with the fact that as you're getting into a schedule that's going to result in closer games and maybe some physical games, and that your guys have developed that maturity and mindset that if things get chippy or there's a call that doesn't go your way, they seem to have really showed good composure to this point and handle it well?
Well, we have to. It's going to happen. It's part of the game. How you deal with adversity, and that's what I was talking about earlier and kind of referencing is when the other team was scoring or getting an offensive rebound, a stick back, and an and one, we would just come down and execute and just, okay, next we got to get to the next play. The game has thousands and thousands of plays in it, and we can't let that one play that was disappointing or define us.
And certainly, I would even say in the Notre Dame game, I mean, your execution wasn't what you wanted it to be, but I never felt like there was that look in anybody's eye like it's starting to slip away or we're a little panicked here, we don't quite know what's going to happen. I thought your guys had composure even in that game and maybe just didn't do as good a job of running things.
Yeah, and in the end, with 19 seconds to go, we're up 3 and with the ball and just can't finish the game. So Notre Dame quickly came out and cut that, and I guess we'll talk about the Notre Dame game for infinity, but the Notre Dame game, they cut the lead from 14 to 9 very quickly with 19 minutes to go in the second half. So it wasn't like we just were up 25 points with 4 minutes to go. That was a 9-point game with 19 minutes to go, and they continued to cut into it. They got it down to 3 with 19 seconds to go, and we just didn't execute down the stretch.
And you mentioned Richard Kelly when we were talking about the situation to continue to keep playing and keep going and don't start sitting on the lead or any of those kinds of things. And Kelly saying something to the team, and obviously you want guys on your team, leaders, seniors, that sort of thing, that are not afraid to say something and know when is the right time for them to also insert something along with the coaches to kind of remind their teammates in those situations.
Richard Kelly is one of the best communicators that I've ever coached. I mean, he's always talking out on the court. He's always encouraging his teammates. He's a very positive communicator, and just really we could use several more like him.
I think people also should know on the flight down, these are the things the fans don't get to see. About an hour flight, and it was not an obligation, but Landry Shamet came up and sat down with Donnie Jones and watched video of Baylor the entire trip down, just getting more familiar with them, getting better informed, more ready to do what he needed to do once the game came around.
Yeah, Landry's one of those guys. I think he wants to be a coach. That's what he's expressed to me, but before he gets into this business, he's got a lot of court time as a player coming up. So he loves to watch and try to figure out how to be better and how he can do things more effectively against his opponent. And that's what makes him part of the reason why he's so good.
And people have asked about Marcus. We've talked a lot about Marcus, about how he's progressing, but you can tell, watching him over there, that it's killing him to have to be on the sidelines and not playing, but he's also a really positive force over there on the bench and always fired up and excited and encouraging his teammates.
Absolutely. Today was the first time, because he's so positive, so excitable, so happy all the time, happy-go-lucky. He's got a great approach to life, but today, and during practice, during the video, we're doing the Baylor and then the South Dakota State, and I noticed that he was like not as jovial as he normally is. So I went over and said, "This is starting to really get to you, isn't it?" And he goes, "Yes, it is." And so he admitted that, which I thought he would deny it, but it's bothering him, and he's got a few more weeks. He's out of the boot. He's working hard with his rehab. He had a sweat going today. I don't know what they had him doing, whether he was in the Swim-X or what, but it's obviously non-weight bearing. But he can run on the soft surface of the Cessna Stadium, and he can run in the water, but they don't want him jumping or doing any crazy stuff like that on the court. So hopefully it'll be just a few more weeks, and he's ready to go. That'd be a nice piece to add, by the way.
I was going to say, you're 6-1. You just beat a top 20 team on the road, and he hasn't played a second yet. That's a real tribute to the depth of this team and how these guys have pulled together and guys stepping up and taking bigger roles in some cases.
Yeah, he's going to be if he's in shape, and I don't know how that works coming off his injury. I've never dealt with this one, so and it's going to be hard for him to be real sharp with everything that we're doing because he's watched, but he's not participated. And hopefully he will be able to overcome all that and be a tremendous addition once he's healthy.
You've seen a couple of zones for much of a game already a couple of times this year. It is one of his biggest strengths, one of the things he can add, that ability to flash in there at the high post and into some of those weak spots in zones with his both length and skill set to take advantage of those situations.
Yeah, he's a multi-dimensional player. I mean, he can flash and do those things. He can play make. He can shoot it. He can rebound it. I mean, guy's 6'8" and has game. You know, that's what we say. He has game. There's very few holes in his game other than being a bigger, stronger guy. But he has developed upper body strength in the last couple of years in our program. So hopefully, getting him getting him healthy, and from that point forward, figuring out where to insert him into the lineup.
You're listening to Shocker head coach Gregg Marshall. Wichita State has South Dakota State at home, Oklahoma State on the road this week. We'll talk more in just a moment.
Why sing about chestnuts roasting when IHOP has new cheesecake stuffed French toast? Brioche French toast layered with creamy cheesecake, then topped with glazed strawberries, warm apples and toffee, or cookies and cream made with Oreo cookie pieces. Now that's something to sing about. Cheesecake stuffed French toast, only at IHOP. Now with IHOP and Go, order online and get $5 off your first order of $25 or more.
As a coach, I know numbers are important. Ultimately, everything we do will be judged objectively by a score and a record. Great teams produce great results. When it comes to home health care, Serenity Home Health is not only the hometown team, they are the champs. Medicare has awarded Serenity Home Health a near perfect quality score of 4.5 out of 5 stars, putting them among the very best in the nation. I trust Serenity Home Health, and you should too. Call 866-2929 to set up a free consultation.
Ever wonder what's in a beer? If it's a Bud Light, it's 4 essential ingredients: barley, rice, water, and hops. Here's to the beer you can always count on. Brewed to be America's favorite light lager.
Winning takes hard work, commitment, and accountability. I'm Wichita State coach Gregg Marshall, and I believe in challenging our team, like switching leagues. And so does the hometown team at All Angles Collision Repair. They're in a league of their own, the very best. All Angles has the right people, processes, and prompt service, providing state-of-the-art collision repair with 100% customer satisfaction. All Angles, the winning team in auto body repair. All Angles!
Hi, I'm Gregg Marshall, coach of the Wichita State Shockers men's basketball team, and I'm here to talk to you about Dillon's. Now, I know a thing or two about committing yourself to excellence. That's why I love Dillon's. Because the Dillon's team is committed to high-quality food, low prices, and the kind of friendly service that makes you feel right at home. So next time you're having a party or a tailgate to cheer on the team, stop by Dillon's for your favorite food and drinks. Go Shockers! Great food, low prices at Dillon's.
Welcome back to our Monday Night Coaches Show with Gregg Marshall. The Shockers now 6-1, ranked 6th in both major polls this week after their 69-62 win at Baylor on Saturday afternoon, breaking Baylor's 46-game home court winning streak. And the Shockers are now 68-14 on the road, true road games in the last 7+ years. Coach, we had an opportunity the week that it all came down to talk about 5 of your 6 incoming recruits, but you didn't have one signature yet, and I did want to ask you about Alex Lomax, the very highly regarded point guard from Memphis.
Alex Lomax is a kid that Shocker fans will really enjoy. He is first of all, he's a winner. That's the word that you use to describe him. Regardless of the team, AAU, high school, middle school, when he's on the team, that team wins, and that's what you want from your point guards. I'm not going to say he's a Fred Van Vliet or a Malcolm Armstead or a Joe Ragland or even a Clevin Hanna or Teray Murray, but he's a guy that Shocker fans will enjoy. He's strong, he's tough, he competes at the highest level. He can drive it, he can shoot the 3, he makes his free throws, he makes big plays. He's a winner, and we're real excited. Kyle Lindstead did an unbelievable job. We all went up there a couple of times, but Kyle Lindstead took the lead on that, and getting this kid to come out from Memphis to join the Wichita State Shocker basketball program was a coup, and he had a lot of big-time schools recruiting him, so we're just excited. He, his family, his folks that surround him feel good enough about making that decision and that choice to join our program, and can't wait to coach him.
As you just touched on, a lot went into getting him to decide to come here, and are he and Rod Brown not friends, have played together in AAU ball or summer ball or something, and was that a factor?
No, they actually went to rival high schools and rival AAU teams, so that was something we had to overcome.
Okay. I did want to ask you about Rod also. He mutually made the decision for him to redshirt this year, and as you touched on, he's a guy that could have helped you, especially in some of these early games with Marcus out. But one thing that really impressed us, we've watched him a couple of times before home games. He's out there early before the team comes out with Donnie Jones and whoever working on things, and he put in 45 minutes one night of really hard work, and you can tell he really wants to be good.
Well, he's an athlete. He's kind of like a Zach Brown. He's going to have to become a great defender. He's going to have to use that athleticism. He's going to have to continue to develop his skills. But I think he really wants it, and that's paramount. He's got to want it, because there's some work to be done. He's not ready to sit anyone down at the 3 spot and help us win more than a Zach Brown or a Marcus McDuffie when he becomes eligible. So we made the decision to redshirt him. He was supposed to be a high school kid this year, but there's a rule. He turned 19. And he could not play as a senior in the state of Tennessee, so he was going to have to go to prep school or go ahead and reclassify. And he's a good student, and he's a very conscientious young man. So he signed with us thinking that there was a good possibility that he would redshirt. I think once he got here and he saw how big and strong and smart these kids were that he was competing against, I think that solidified his decision to want a red shirt. And I didn't even talk to him. I mean, it was kind of assumed that was what he was going to do. And so we get 4 more years of him. He'll have a better understanding of our system. He's naturally strong, and he's got a great body walking in the door. So it's just a matter now of him, how much want to he has and how tough he is.
And conversely, Asbjorn Midtgaard is playing this year, and certainly I know there was some feeling that the benefit with him would be, even if he doesn't get a lot of actual game time, that's still a plus as opposed to sitting and watching when you've got 4 of your 4 or 5 men walking out the door as seniors this year.
Yeah, the necessity for him to be a very good player next year is so great because of the amount of big guys that we have leaving our program by graduation. So we felt like we needed to get him some game experience. I mean, it'd be nice to have that 5th year, but you never know about that 5th year. Kids go pro, they transfer, whatever. The bottom line is you never know you're going to get the 5th year. So we decided to play him, and there's going to be some games, and he was very good in practice today. There's going to be some games where he will help us win this year, and I believe that. And of course, you know, we've put a lot of into this year. We've got 6 seniors. I mean, we've had 5 a couple of times. We've never had 6. So it's a big year for us, making the transition to the new league, the tremendous non-conference schedule, and we think that he is going to help us win games this year and hopefully benefit from getting some minutes in other games. Hopefully we have some blowouts. We used to have a lot of blowouts. I could work these guys in and get them some minutes and coach them just like the starters at the end of the game, but that hasn't happened so far. We haven't had very many blowouts, so we're playing such good competition, and those type games are going to be few and far between.
I know you mentioned after the Savannah State game you were pleased he got in for a few minutes in that one, and the thing that pleased you was the way he rebounded, the way he went and got the ball with both hands and showed some growth in that area.
We're working on some different drills with him, just rebounding out of his area, getting it with 2 hands, keeping it high, sticking it back in the square or dunking it. And he's coming along. He hit a little 15-foot jumper today in the practice, and he was, at times, he had to simulate Mike Dahm.
Let's talk about South Dakota State, tomorrow night's opponent. And you've mentioned Mike Dahm. Mike Dahm is a 6'9" redshirt junior who in his first 2 collegiate seasons has scored well over 1,300 points. I just saw this today. Since 1992, only Steph Curry and Allen Iverson scored more in their first 2 Division I seasons than Mike Dahm, and he is slightly ahead of Doug McDermott. Those are the top 4 in the last 25 years in Division I basketball. Dude
can put the ball in the basket. He can shoot it. For those of you who, everybody knows Larry Bird that's over 15 years old. So that's who I would call him, Larry Bird. He's not Larry Bird. I don't want to put that onus on him, but he has that same game. He's not a great athlete, but he's got huge shoulders, long arms, shoots a 3, posts up, rebounds it. He's their leading scorer and their leading rebounder. They run offense through him. They just throw him the ball because he's a good passer. Very, very good player. He's only a junior.
He had 20 points in the game here last year and didn't really force things. He was 8 of 14, efficient from the field. Who's best suited to maybe guard him? Or a couple of guys, obviously, in a game like this.
I'm trying to think in the NBA who I could pluck from the NBA to guard him, because that would be the best. Who's best suited? The guy on our team currently, Rashard Kelly's going to get some time. He guarded Monzie Colson. Zach Brown might get some time on him, even though they're giving up several inches. So it was interesting today because the way they start, it's going to be a difficult match for us because they've got a big guy and then they've got him. And so I'm saying if they don't start the big guy, then then Dom goes to the 5. The other dude is a stretch 4. Shaq can't guard a stretch 4. So Shaq would have to guard this guy. So we're going back and forth. Oh my goodness, Shaq's going to have to guard this guy and this and that. And then Darrell Willis raises it. I can guard him. If Shaq can guard him, I can guard him. And so yeah, I don't know. It's going to be guard him by committee.
And certainly this is a team, they lost 2 guys that, they lost 2 starters from last year. You played this team last year, and those were their other leading scorers. Both of them had 15, but they do have a lot of guys back. This is a veteran team, and certainly a handful of guys at least that you saw quite a bit of last year.
Oh, this is a very, very good South Dakota State Jackrabbit team. You're going to see size, athleticism, strength, veterans. I mean, they're juniors and seniors. So we're going to have to play well. If we don't play well, if we come out flat, or which I don't anticipate, because we've tried to be very honest with our team and said don't worry about the Baylor game. That's over. Don't worry about what's coming up this coming Saturday. We have a tough game Tuesday night, and I think that they will come out ready to defend and rebound, and we think we can score against them. That's not their forte. Last year they went strictly 1-3-1. This year, they're a man-to-man defensive team similar to what we used to see at Northern Iowa. At one time, you can see 4 and 5 guys with at least a foot in the lane.
This is a team, I would say they shoot a lot of threes, but that's become a relative term after playing Savannah State, which took 55 from beyond the arc, but they do average 27 three-point attempts per game, and they have several different guys on their team that are capable from out there.
Well, you have to make those, they're going to make some. You have to make them tough looks. You have to make them tough attempts. You can't let them get their feet set. If you play a horse game with these guys, you're in trouble. You have to. That's why defense it's defense. You can't. It's hard to measure defense, how important it is, but it's very important to me. So I want to make sure every one of those 3-pointers is contested, and there's a hand in the face and someone running at the shooter, and at least they can't just concentrate on that rim.
You're listening to Shocker head coach Gregg Marshall. The Shockers of South Dakota State at Koch Arena tomorrow night, and then on to Oklahoma State on Saturday. We'll talk a little bit about that too when we come back to wrap things up.
At Jacob Liquor Exchange, you never know who will show up.
The wine selection is scary good.
It's safer to buy my tequila here than in Juarez.
They got more bourbon than my dog's got fleas.
Many craft beers for even my fancy palate.
At Jacob Liquor Exchange, we have the largest selection of beer, wine, and spirits in Wichita. If you're not sure what to buy, check out our weekend tastings. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will help you decide. We're right on the way and right on the price. Jacob Liquor Exchange.
What happens when you register your Cox account and get a user ID and password? You open up a world of possibilities for all your Cox services, like access to live TV and on-demand shows with the Contour app, and TV network apps to watch on the go. Cox Security Suite Plus, powered by McAfee, and phone tools to keep you connected when you leave home. Discover what you can do. Check out the Cox Discover More video series at cox.com/learn.
With Cox high-speed internet, you get access to super-fast in-home Wi-Fi to power all your devices and do the things you love online. And now, when you're traveling, you have free access to the nation's largest Wi-Fi network with over 500,000 hotspots, so you can stay connected in places such as New York City, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Phoenix, and many more. Learn how with the Cox Discover More video series at cox.com/learn.
At Jacob Liquor Exchange, you never know who will show up.
The wine selection is scary good.
It's safer to buy my tequila here than in Juarez.
They got more bourbon than my dog's got fleas.
Many craft beers for even my fancy palate.
At Jacob Liquor Exchange, we have the largest selection of beer, wine, and spirits in Wichita. If you're not sure what to buy, check out our weekend tastings. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will help you decide. We're right on the way and right on the price. Jacob Liquor Exchange.
What happens when you register your Cox account and get a user ID and password? You open up a world of possibilities for all your Cox services, like access to live TV and on-demand shows with the Contour app, and TV network apps to watch on the go. Cox Security Suite Plus, powered by McAfee, and phone tools to keep you connected when you leave home. Discover what you can do. Check out the Cox Discover More video series at cox.com/learn.
Welcome back to the Gregg Marshall Show. Wichita State ready to host South Dakota State tomorrow night at Koch Arena. That game gets underway at 7 o'clock. Our broadcast begins at 6 on 103.7. We are here typically every Monday night from 6 to 7 with this coaches show. You were giving me a hard time earlier, but as long as these games are exciting and fun for me, you actually had a chance to enjoy yourself a little bit during a close, exciting event that you didn't have to have the stress of coaching. I know you and the family were all out at the volleyball match on Saturday night after we got back from Waco.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a tremendous season for the Wichita State Shocker women's volleyball team. To win 20 games in a row in this new improved conference, to go and receive a home match, or 2 matches actually, to go for the right to go to the Sweet 16. So we were tired, but we were excited. We were happy, and we started once our game was over. We realized we were going to get back about 5 o'clock, 5:30, something like that. Just in time, take our stuff home, change our clothes, feed the dogs, let them out, and come back to the game. And I asked Brian Holmgren, our SID, if there was any chance that we could sit somewhere in a reserve section instead of because we had 7,200 plus people at the matches. And I've never seen a volleyball match with that much electricity and that much energy. And our girls work so hard. They're so well coached. Lambo does a wonderful job with his staff. And I'm going, God, man, this would have been the best Saturday when you combine 2 programs, and if they could have gone to the Sweet 16 in Koch Arena, and we were just coming back off a win on the road against a great Baylor team. What a Saturday for Shocker athletics. But Missouri had a great team, so many athletes. They come at you in so many different. There was a couple of girls that jumped from the back line to spike the ball. It was just amazing. But how about a hand for those Shocker volleyball players and that team? They had a wonderful year, 20-0 in their inaugural season in the American Athletic Conference. So I know that that's just one of many great years that they've had since I've been here, and it's a beautiful sport to watch. It really is.
And turnabout's fair play. I'm glad you had time to change clothes and feed the dogs and all that, because I had to go straight there and barely got on in time.
I was a little more sweaty than you, Mike.
Let's talk about, and obviously your focus is pretty much entirely on South Dakota State, but coming up on Saturday afternoon at Oklahoma State, that's been one of those programs that you've been able to get to play here in the area, home and home, a Big 12 opponent, and certainly a game that there is some payback or whatever from last year. That was not one of the best performances or happiest moments of last season.
Absolutely not. That was one of the rare times where I just went out of the arena shaking my head. Well, wow, what just happened? What just transpired? We were not ready for Oklahoma State last year, and that falls on me. We will be ready this year. I can't guarantee a win. Obviously, they're a very good program, proud heritage at their place. New coach, a lot of the same players, a couple of seniors that graduated. One went to the pros, Jawan Evans, but they're really good. So that will be another challenge similar to the Baylor game.
And you, more than a lot of coaches I've known, have, I would say, more of a sense of the history of the game and some of the traditions of the game. What was Gallagher Hall, it was a show place when it was built and renovated now to Gallagher-Iba Arena. Do you look forward to playing in venues like that? And I know you did that a lot when you were at Winthrop especially.
I had to do it a lot at Winthrop because we had to go get paid to play those games. I've never been on the campus. I've been down to Karsten Creek and played golf a couple times, which is where the Oklahoma State men's and women's golf team practice and play. But I've never been to on the campus of Oklahoma State. So I'm looking forward to seeing it and just getting more familiar with the region. And obviously the game is not going to be fun, but we've got to go in there and compete and try to do what we did this past Saturday.
Coach, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks. Head coach Gregg Marshall, Wichita State and South Dakota State tomorrow night at Charles Koch Arena. Again, just a reminder, the game gets underway at 7 o'clock, and then Saturday afternoon at Stillwater, 3 o'clock is tip time against Oklahoma State. And the Shockers, with finals week coming up, will then have a week between games, the Oklahoma State game in Stillwater and the OU game at Intrust the following Saturday. But an exciting time of the year. Thanks to all of you who joined us. Again, coming up next, Keitha Adams talking Shocker women's basketball. They have a game at Missouri State this week, then get back home against UMKC. And then coming up from 8 to 8:30, our final Chris Lamb show of the year as we recap a sensational Shocker volleyball season. Again, Wichita State's men's basketball 6-1 and 6th in both polls this week. We'll see you tomorrow night at Koch Arena. Steve Strain along next with Keitha Adams.